Mic check one. Hey everyone, happy hot Thursday. I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi here on 9 News, Facebook Live and on Watch as well. And yes, the story for us, there's no doubt about it. It is the continuing heat. And folks, if you think it's hot today, I'll get into that forecast for next week, which could feature even hotter temperatures than what we're seeing now. Yes, it could get even hotter than what we're looking at. We do get one brief breather, though, for your day tomorrow. So if you're looking for at least a little bit of a cool down, you do get it, but it's not going to last all that long. Meantime, take a look outside there, Lookout Mountain. You can see it's a little bit on the hazy side. That is thanks to some wildfire smoke being pumped up from Arizona, and current temperatures right now, that's the real story for us. There's no doubt about it. 90 already for us in Denver. That makes it our 5th day at 90 plus so far this year, and 5th day of the last 6. Yesterday we got up to 89, so technically didn't get up to, of course, 90, but 5 of the last 6 days we have been at 90 plus. We average 44 days at 90 plus so far this year, and we've got a lot more 90 plus weather coming up here in the forecast. In the meantime, air quality continues to be on the low side. I showed you that there with that view from Lookout Mountain. We do have that low air quality for your day today, so if you can avoid that midday lunch jog. I cannot imagine anybody who wants to go outside for a jog when it's 90 degrees outside, but especially now, and especially if you are one of those sensitive groups, we are looking at that unhealthy air quality as we head through the remainder of today. That will get kind of brushed out, though, a little bit thanks to this. Some increasing winds, particularly for the foothills and along the Palmer Divide. Also the eastern plains, where it's a bit muggy, we're going to be looking at some of those winds kicking on up. Could be looking at some 20, 30 plus mile an hour winds later on this afternoon and through the overnight and early tomorrow, but those winds do back off as we get through most of the day tomorrow, though we are going to be looking at some still blustery conditions for some of us. Meantime, as we head west, the further west you go in the state, the more extreme the fire danger will be. Red flag warnings up for much of the western slope and much of western Colorado. That does include a good chunk of the San Juans, and then you get into northwestern Colorado up by Craig, Meeker, Steamboat Springs, Yampa River Valley on west. We are looking at that red flag warning, and that is the part of the state that really does need the moisture. We're just not getting it. Eastern Colorado, of course, in a much better drought situation. I'll show you that coming up in just a second. Meantime, satellite and radar, we can actually see, again, all that smoke being pumped up from those wildfires in Arizona. That's that little narrow ribbon of clouds that you can see there, but that's also part of a cold front that'll bring us a bit of very temporary relief as we get into your day on Friday. Meantime, there's that drought monitor that I was talking about just a second ago. You get into western Colorado and the dividing line it's almost parallel to the continental divide. You get east of the divide, and we've had a ton of moisture. Probably don't have to tell you that in Denver throughout the Front Range, where we've seen just so much moisture so far this year. And again, just a 180 as you get west of the divide, Grand Junction, down through Durango, the San Juans on north and northwestern Colorado. Quick, I guess, meteorological explanation while I've got the time here. As you get west of the divide, your primary moisture source is the Pacific Ocean. You get along and east of the continental divide, and typically speaking, you get some Pacific moisture, but we'll get a lot of our moisture here in Denver along the Front Range from the Gulf of Mexico, and that's the reason kind of why we're seeing such a stark contrast in the drought monitor. One state, two completely different drought situations as you span the Centennial State. Meantime, satellite and radar, there's that narrow ribbon of clouds. Part of that is wildfire smoke, but the actual more significant part of that is actually a cold front that's going to drop its way on through. It's a dry front. It's not going to lead to any storms. We're completely dry today, tomorrow, and through pretty much Saturday as well. May see a spot storm or two in southern Colorado for Saturday, but we will notice some big changes. But then you get a little further north, and that's where that cold front's actually going to trigger some strong severe thunderstorms. You can see that red shaded zone there and through parts of North Dakota and South Dakota. That is a moderate or a level 4 out of a level 5 risk for severe storms. The main threat up there is going to be some damaging winds and some really large hail. So if you know anybody traveling there along I-90 or I-94 through the Dakotas, may include even parts of I-29 as well, be careful up that way, as we are looking at some really nasty weather as we get later on through the rest of tonight and into early tomorrow. Out that way. Meantime, forecast lows, some of those single digit readings are off, but Denver 55 for tonight. And then as we get into your day tomorrow, 84 for us in Denver and 83 in Greeley. That'll feel a lot better than where we've been, won't it? But again, we're looking at a one-day cool down. Then by Saturday and Sunday and early next week, we will reintroduce the chance for some very scattered showers and storms for us on your Sunday, Monday. This is pretty isolated stuff here, folks. So don't plan really. If you've got outdoor plans for your Sunday afternoon, go ahead with them. But we do have an isolated storm or two. Probably a better chance as you get a little further south. Palmer Divide on south. Monday, same idea for us as well. Tuesday, probably the best chance for storms. It's also, at this point, looking like the hottest day this week. And I'll tell you what, some of those computer forecast models are showing those temperatures perhaps into the triple digits for mid next week. So if you think it's hot now, oh, just you wait. And it's also going to be a very prolonged stretch of hot weather. It doesn't look like we really cool down for a more than one-day stretch until maybe end of next weekend, early the following week. So that's June 20th and the 21st, which, by the way, coincides with the summer solstice, which is on June the 20th. So it is really, really hot for the next little while. Meantime, by the way, I'm going to take some of your questions. If you got them, drop them in the comments section below. If you are joining us here on Facebook, that 7-day forecast, that's the real story. And of course, that 7-day forecast is for Denver. It is a hot one. You probably don't need me to sit here and tell you that that's a hot forecast. Today, probably going to get up into the range of 96, 97 here in Denver. Already gotten up to 90 so far today, and we'll be getting those temperatures again briefly cooler for your day tomorrow, then Saturday and Sunday and Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday and Friday. You're looking at scorching temperatures as we hit through the weekend and into early next week. So Austin asking if we have the potential for tornadoes on Tuesday. I'd say this, we're way too far out to really get into specifics. I'd just say there's a chance for some of those scattered showers and some thunderstorms for next Tuesday. I'd say this, that those storms look pretty isolated for next Tuesday. Quick explainer here. When we're talking about temperatures like this, if it's getting up to 97 in Denver, that's usually because we got really dry air in place. Almost always. We get the dry heat right here in Colorado, and so anytime it gets really, really hot, like 95, 96, 97, 98, that's usually because we just got an exceptionally dry air mass in place. So that's going to put a lid on any storm chances. Isolated storm or two, and anytime we've got drier weather and we've got a storm chance, usually more times than not, your main storm type will be damaging winds. So just as a little bit of an explainer there and a bit of a heads up, I don't think we're looking at any at this point. Again, we're pretty far out here. Next Tuesday, it's currently Thursday, 5 days out. Getting specifics, I do think we'll be mainly looking at that risk for damaging winds. So thanks for asking that question there, Austin. And we'll take some of those as well. Appreciate everybody writing in and watching us here on Watch as well as here on Facebook Live. And I'm going to take a quick look here and see if we've got any others, but certainly appreciate all of you for tuning on in for this really just hot forecast. One quick thing I want to touch on before I let you all go here is take a look at that drought monitor. This is the real story to me, and it's just stunning to see how divided we are here in the state. You get west of that continental divide, and we're just bone dry for us. Grand Junction on up through Dinosaur National Park, Craig, Moffett, Meeker, we're just looking at exceptionally dry conditions, same for the San Juans. And then as you head east, those conditions gradually improve, and you get into the Front Range. Denver, again, said it for a millionth time, probably for the last couple of weeks at this point, just so wet here along the Front Range and points east that we're completely out of drought conditions for us in eastern and central, much of central Colorado. But again, you get west of the divide, almost parallel to the divide, and we are looking at those really nasty dry conditions, and also those red flag warnings continue for us in that part of the state as well, following most of that drought map. And we'll be looking at those relative humidity levels really low. Lower the humidity, less moisture you've got, and those winds. Really three things you look for: high fire conditions, at least on a shorter term basis, warmer temperatures, lower humidity, gusty winds. That's that kind of three-headed monster you look for in terms of that higher risk for fire danger. So that is the overall weather picture for us here across Colorado. We've seen such dry weather for the last little while, but it's really western Colorado where we're fixated on that risk for wildfires to potentially grow and potentially explosively out there as well. Meantime, the story for us in Denver continues to be the heat. I'm Meteorologist Chris Bianchi. Thanks for joining us here on 9 News Watch as well as on our Facebook page.